Have you ever felt stuck, caught between what you know you should do and what you actually end up doing? That constant urge to begin yet never follow through. The fleeting spark of motivation that fades before you see any real results. Self-discipline can feel like a distant, almost mythical concept, especially when temptations are loud and effort feels exhausting. But what if I told you that self-discipline isn't some rare trait you're either born with or without? What if it's a trainable skill, a muscle you can strengthen with the right mindset, strategies, and tools? This audiobook is here to guide you on that very journey. As you listen, you'll uncover science-backed secrets that will help you take control of your mind, boost your willpower, and turn your goals into concrete achievements. You won't be relying on motivation anymore. Instead, you'll learn how to work with your brain, not against it. You'll explore how to optimize your energy, break bad habits, and build lasting systems that support your success. From the elite tactics used by the U.S. Navy SEALs to the latest neuroscience research that explains how discipline truly works, this is not just a theory. It's a blueprint for transformation. Get ready to reshape your habits, sharpen your focus, and unlock a level of self-mastery you didn't think was possible. Very concept in this audiobook is a practical tool designed to transform your life. Forget about overly complicated systems or impossible routines. Here, you'll learn how to unlock your full potential without burning out, how strategic planning is more powerful than raw effort, and how motivation, when properly understood, can become your greatest ally. This isn't just about reaching goals. It's about activating a whole new level of performance within yourself. Your disciplined future starts now. Self-discipline isn't a gift you're born with, nor is it a privilege reserved for a select few. Above all, it's a mindset. It's the conscious decision to bet on yourself, to prioritize what truly matters, and to stay the course even when life throws obstacles in your path. Because in the end, every single time you choose to move forward, even if it's just a small step, you're not only strengthening your willpower, you're rewriting the story you tell yourself. A story where you are capable, you are consistent, and you do not give up. Willpower is the invisible bridge between your desires and your achievements. It's not just about pushing through. It's about training that mental muscle until it becomes second nature, until discipline becomes a part of who you are, not just something you try to practice. Discipline frees you from regret and brings you closer to success. Discipline equals freedom, said Jocko Willink, and he was right. But discipline isn't just a principle. It's an art form, a daily practice, and in today's age of infinite distractions, it feels more elusive than ever. We live in a world engineered to hijack our focus. Think about it. Why do supermarkets place snacks right by the checkout counters? Because after navigating aisles filled with junk food, your willpower is fatigued, ripe for surrender to an innocent little treat. They're not just selling snacks. They're exploiting human psychology. And here's the fascinating part. These seemingly insignificant decisions add up. Each moment of weakness or strength builds momentum. Momentum that either strengthens your habits or deepens your destructive patterns. What feels trivial today could become tomorrow's unshakable behavior. So what's the key to resisting these manipulations? It's not just about wanting to be stronger. It's about understanding how your mind works. This requires more than discipline. It demands self-awareness. And that self-awareness isn't harsh or judgmental. It's rooted in honesty and compassion. When you learn to truly know yourself, you start to recognize the moments when you're most vulnerable. And instead of blaming or shaming yourself, you begin to prepare. Mentally, emotionally, strategically. Because knowing your weaknesses isn't a liability. It's a superpower. It's the first step toward mastery. And mastery begins when you stop fighting who you are and start guiding who you're becoming. Discipline isn't about momentary bursts of effort. It's about becoming your own coach. It's about shaping your thoughts, managing your emotions, and designing an environment that works for you, not against you. And this last part, your environment, is crucial, because success doesn't rely on having infinite willpower. It depends on strategic intelligence. Why fight against the current when you could build channels that carry you further with less resistance? Discipline is not a destination. It's a process, a continuous journey of refining your systems, habits, and mindset. Yes, it requires patience and effort, but the rewards are beyond measure. You'll unlock your full potential, reshape your life, and discover a version of yourself you may not have believed existed. The path won't be easy, but it will be worth every single step. Now is the moment to begin, because in the end, the real question isn't can you do it? It's will you stay committed to yourself long enough to witness the results of your effort? Understanding how willpower works is the first step toward transforming it into a powerful tool. But knowing what it can give you is only half the battle. You also need to understand its limits, its breaking points. Willpower is a resource, just like time. Precious, limited, and easily drained if not managed wisely. We must learn to manage our willpower wisely. And this is where the work of psychologist Roy Baumeister opens our eyes. Self-discipline is not an infinite resource, and wasting it can cause us to give in right when we need it the most. At first, this idea might sound discouraging, but in reality, it's a powerful reminder. Managing your internal energy is just as vital as any external strategy for success. One of Baumeister's most groundbreaking experiments demonstrated this principle with astonishing clarity. He divided participants into two groups and presented them with two options: freshly baked cookies or bitter radishes. The first group could freely choose what to eat. The second group, however, was forced to eat only the radishes, resisting the tempting smell of the cookies laid out in front of them. Then, both groups were asked to solve a difficult puzzle. The results were eye-opening. Those who had already spent mental energy resisting temptation gave up on the puzzle almost twice as fast as those who hadn't faced any restriction. What seemed like a small detail, just eating or resisting cookies, revealed a universal truth. Every internal battle consumes a part of us. Each time you fight against yourself, whether it's resisting distraction, holding your tongue, or pushing through fatigue, you're withdrawing from your willpower bank. And if that bank is empty when the real challenge comes, you might not have the strength to face it. Micro-decisions have a cumulative cost, one we often fail to notice until it's too late. Baumeister's work teaches us that our willpower functions like a battery. Every decision we make drains it little by little, and if we don't manage that depletion wisely, we risk burning out long before we reach our goals. But recognizing this isn't a call to surrender. It's an invitation to become more strategic. Because just like a battery that's well maintained, your mental energy can last far longer than you think. And the good news? There are proven ways to optimize and protect your willpower, so it's there when you need it most. Here are a few powerful strategies to help you do just that. 1. Minimize unnecessary temptation triggers. This isn't about deprivation. It's about taking control. Be proactive. Make a list before you go shopping so you're not making decisions in the moment. Avoid environments that lead you to poor choices. And remove objects or distractions from your surroundings that you know weaken your self-control. For example, if you tend to procrastinate by watching TV, try placing the remote in a drawer across the room or even in another space entirely. When something becomes less accessible, it becomes less tempting. Not because your willpower magically increases, but because your environment is no longer working against you. It's these small shifts that make a massive difference. Because success isn't about resisting every impulse. It's about designing a life where fewer impulses show up in the first place. hangs in your environment can lead to profound transformations in your behavior. When you modify your surroundings strategically, you don't have to constantly resist. You can advance with less friction. Instead of using your energy to fight distractions, you'll be using it to move forward. Second, forget multitasking. Though it may seem efficient, multitasking actually scatters your focus and drains your self-control. This was brilliantly demonstrated in an experiment led by Baba Shiv. One group of participants was asked to memorize a long number, while the other group was allowed to relax. Then both groups were offered a choice between a healthy snack and a high-calorie dessert. The result? Those who had to remember the number, whose brains were already occupied, chose the unhealthy dessert 50% more often than the relaxed group. This highlights something crucial. When we overload our mental bandwidth, we're far more vulnerable to impulsive decisions. Distraction weakens discipline. This reveals a powerful principle. The quality of your focus determines the quality of your choices. Learning to say no to what's not essential is not selfish. It's a radical act of self-care. Your time and energy are finite. Protecting them is how you honor your goals. Also, clean and organize your environment, both physical and digital. Clutter isn't just visually overwhelming. It's mentally exhausting. A tidy space clears the path for sharper thinking, reduces decision fatigue, and strengthens your willpower. Think of this as a silent investment in your best self. You won't always see the results immediately, but over time, these subtle optimizations build a powerful foundation for a more disciplined, focused, and fulfilling life. Every minute you spend organizing your environment is time you'll earn back in clarity and effectiveness. It's not wasted effort. It's an investment in your mental bandwidth. Another essential principle: manage your dopamine sources wisely. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter behind pleasure and motivation, can be both your ally and your enemy. Distractions like social media, binge-watching, or endless scrolling are engineered to hijack your dopamine system, making you crave more of what gives you short-term pleasure while sabotaging your long-term goals. But here's the good news. You can hack your own brain. When you redirect dopamine toward healthy habits, you can train your mind to enjoy what nourishes you. The secret is in designing your day so that growth feels rewarding. Instead of forcing yourself to pursue goals with discipline alone, reshape the experience. Find joy in the process. Attach pleasure to the things that build your future, not just to instant gratification. In doing so, your goals stop feeling like obligations. They become desires, things you want to achieve, not things you have to chase. Lastly, make the right choices the easiest ones. If you know you waste hours on your phone, take real action. Log out of social apps, turn off notifications, or simply leave your device in another room. These subtle adjustments break the cycle of automatic behavior. Each barrier you place between yourself and a distraction becomes a silent reminder of what truly matters. Willpower is a limited resource, but with smart strategies, you don't need to rely on it constantly. You can design your environment to support the version of you that's focused, determined, and intentional. Because in the end, success is not about having unbreakable discipline. It's about building a life where discipline becomes easier because the path is clear. So how can you protect this inner resource and use it to transform your life? The truth is, every small victory builds positive momentum. What feels like a monumental effort today can become second nature tomorrow. Discipline doesn't have to feel like a constant uphill battle. With consistency and the right strategies, it becomes your superpower. And as you progress, you'll unlock more tools, more mental skills, that turn self-discipline into a way of life, not a daily struggle. This journey starts with tiny changes, and yet, each one brings you closer to the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. Listening to our deepest dreams and giving them a voice is a powerful act. It's a reminder that everything starts with a why. Why do we want more willpower? Why do we chase these goals? These questions aren't always easy to face. They demand honesty, courage, and a willingness to look straight into the heart of our fears and desires. But here's the truth. This kind of introspection is one of your greatest anchors. When the road gets uncertain, when motivation fades, returning to your why gives you clarity. It reignites your fire. It reminds you of what you're truly fighting for. Answering these questions may be uncomfortable, but doing so is essential because when you know what drives you, you can overcome anything. We often believe that money, time, or resources are the limits. But more often, what holds us back is the lack of internal alignment. Recognition and promotions are often seen as the ultimate motivators. But the truth runs much deeper. In a revealing study, psychologists Teresa Amabile and Stephen Kramer asked 238 employees to keep a daily journal, recording their emotions and experiences at work. What they discovered was surprising and transformative. It wasn't external rewards that truly fueled motivation. It was the simple, often overlooked feeling of progress. That moment when you take even a small step forward ignites confidence. It whispers, "You're getting closer." And that quiet spark is often enough to keep us going, to inspire us to give our best, even when the finish line still feels far away. Yet, here's the shocking part. 95% of managers underestimated this effect completely. Now ask yourself, how often do you ignore your own small victories, dismissing them as insignificant, while waiting for the big wins to validate your effort? We forget that progress is progress, no matter how small. Every tiny step is a building block toward your future. Celebrating each one is just as important as planning the next. In life, our motivation can be split into two major categories: extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation is fueled by rewards, recognition, praise, or fear of punishment. Intrinsic motivation, however, is driven by something far more powerful: meaning, growth, and the joy of becoming better. And while external motivators may create quick bursts of energy, only internal motivation sustains us through long, difficult journeys. It's that quiet internal voice that says, "Keep going. This matters." When you begin to value the process, not just the outcome, you unlock an entirely new dimension of self-discipline. One that's rooted in purpose, in self-awareness, and in deep, lasting fulfillment. So today, stop waiting for applause. Celebrate the invisible progress, the private victories, the quiet consistency that no one sees but that changes everything. Intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is everything that comes from outside ourselves: rewards, recognition, the desire to avoid failure or rejection. While these external drivers can be valuable, they are inherently limited. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation arises from within and is infinitely more powerful. It is the silent engine that keeps running long after applause fades, because it answers to an inner calling, not to external expectations. Intrinsic motivation pushes us to act regardless of what others think because it connects to something far deeper inside. Among the most important intrinsic drivers is autonomy. The freedom to decide how we do things. Autonomy has a profound impact on motivation. Imagine two groups of illustrators. One receives strict instructions on what to draw, while the other enjoys complete creative freedom. Who do you think will be more inspired? Autonomy gives us wings to create and grow. This feeling of control not only boosts our motivation but also strengthens our confidence in our own abilities. When we feel like the architects of our decisions, we become empowered to shape our lives in meaningful ways. Intrinsic motivation is the fuel that ignites our passion, sustains our effort, and fosters resilience. It transforms challenges into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. So, cultivating autonomy isn't just about freedom. It's about tapping into the core of who we are and unleashing our full potential. When we work with greater passion and determination, mastery becomes not just an achievement, but a powerful source of purpose. Watching our skills improve over time fills us with meaning and motivation. The desire to learn, grow, and perfect ourselves is deeply ingrained in our DNA, and every small step forward propels us to want more. Mastery isn't a destination, it's a continual journey. Each step toward excellence reminds us that true success isn't about reaching perfection, but about enjoying the process of becoming better versions of ourselves every day. Purpose, having a reason that transcends mere action, is one of the greatest driving forces of human beings. When our actions carry deeper meaning, we can overcome any difficulty. A clear purpose connects us to something larger than ourselves, giving meaning to even the toughest moments and transforming them into stepping stones towards something extraordinary. Peter Hollins reminds us that true prosperity comes from nurturing this internal motivation. When we connect with our deepest desires, we stop merely acting out of obligation or external pressure. Instead, we begin to move with intention and authenticity, unlocking a powerful and lasting source of drive that sustains us through challenges and uncertainty. This inner compass guides us beyond fleeting rewards or superficial goals, grounding us in values and dreams that inspire ongoing growth and fulfillment. Instead of living to prove something to others, we begin to live to fulfill our true mission. This deep connection to what truly matters protects us from burnout, because we are no longer working just for immediate results, but for a dream that transcends time itself. And if that mission doesn't seem inspiring enough, Peter Hollins recommends a radical shift. Apply the 10x rule, popularized by Grant Cardone. This principle is simple but transformative. Multiply your goals by 10. If you want to save $10,000, aim for $100,000. But it's not just about increasing your goals. Multiply your efforts by 10 as well. Why dream big? Because aspiring to the highest heights pushes us to break through the barriers we have built ourselves. The thoughts and beliefs that got us here won't be enough to take us to the next level. It's as if our boldest goals force us to reinvent ourselves, to abandon limited versions of who we think we are, and to build a more expansive identity. To truly grow, we must rewrite our internal narrative, changing how we see ourselves and what we believe we are capable of achieving. This process isn't just motivational fluff. It's a powerful cognitive reset that challenges self-imposed limits and opens the door to new possibilities. By embracing this mindset, you transform not only your goals but your entire way of being, unlocking untapped potential and propelling yourself toward extraordinary success. The path may seem challenging, but the reward is immense. You have the power to imagine a bigger, bolder life and, most importantly, the power to build it. Every action, no matter how small, is a brick in the construction of your dreams. Don't underestimate the impact of what you do today. It could be the seed of a monumental transformation. We are far stronger than we believe, and that's a truth we rarely stop to consider. Often, our vision of our own abilities is limited by invisible barriers we place on ourselves. But if anyone knows what it means to unleash human potential to its fullest, it's the Navy SEALs, the elite members of the U.S. Navy's Special Operations Forces. They train in the most extreme environments on the planet, from the suffocating jungle to the freezing Arctic cold. The secret to overcoming challenges that seem impossible goes beyond physical skills. What sets them apart is a mindset, a relentless, unbreakable mental strength that transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Unbreakable. That mindset, that ability to face pain and adversity with resilience, is something we can all cultivate if we decide to take control of our own narratives. Among their most iconic principles stands the 40% rule, which reveals something profoundly eye-opening. When you think you've reached the limit of your strength, whether physical or emotional, you've actually only used 40% of your capacity. This principle challenges our most common belief that fatigue or exhaustion are signs that we can no longer continue. Yes, 40%. This means there is still 60% left to discover. A huge margin of strength and resilience that you only access if you decide to believe in yourself and push beyond what your mind thinks is possible. The true barrier isn't your body, it's your limiting beliefs about what you can do. This rule isn't limited to Navy SEALs. It applies to our lives as well. However, the comfort of modern society often prevents us from realizing what we're truly capable of. Constant distractions and instant gratification have made us forget that to achieve something extraordinary, unbreakable, that mindset, that ability to face pain and adversity with resilience, is something we can all cultivate if we decide to take control of our own narratives. Among its most iconic principles is the 40% rule, which reveals something profoundly eye-opening. When you believe you've reached your limit, whether physical or emotional, you've actually only used 40% of your capacity. This principle challenges our most common belief that fatigue or exhaustion are signs that we can't go any further. Yes, 40%. This means there's still 60% left to discover. A huge margin of strength and resilience that you can only access if you decide to believe in yourself and push beyond what your mind thinks is possible. The real barrier isn't in your body, but in your limiting beliefs about what you can do. This rule doesn't only apply to Navy SEALs. It also applies to our lives. However, the comfort of modern society often prevents us from knowing what we're truly capable of. Constant distractions and the lure of instant gratification have made us forget a fundamental truth. Achieving something truly extraordinary demands sustained effort and a willingness to push ourselves beyond the familiar confines of our comfort zones. In today's world, where technology often smooths our path and simplifies every task, we rarely encounter situations that truly challenge our limits or force us to test the depths of our real capacity. As a result, we grow accustomed to underestimating ourselves, settling quietly for far less than what we are truly capable of achieving. This quiet complacency, so pervasive in our daily routines, acts as a barrier, blocking us from uncovering the deep reservoirs of inner strength that lie hidden within each of us. The power of the human mind is nothing short of astonishing, and one of the clearest demonstrations of this is the placebo effect. In multiple scientific experiments, patients who believed they were receiving actual painkillers, but were in reality given only sugar pills, reported significant reductions in their pain levels. This phenomenon reveals just how profoundly the mind can influence our physiology, triggering powerful healing responses that might seem almost miraculous. Why does this happen? Because their belief in improvement was so strong that it activated the body's own internal mechanisms for relief and recovery. If something as seemingly simple as an idea can alter the way we perceive and even overcome physical pain, imagine the transformative power that lies within your own mindset. The beliefs you hold, the stories you tell yourself, and the strength of your commitment can unlock potential you never dreamed possible. This is the secret. Your mind is not a passive observer, but an active architect of your reality. Cultivating a mindset that embraces challenge, resilience, and unwavering belief in yourself is the key to breaking free from self-imposed limits and stepping boldly into your highest potential. Imagine what we could achieve if we applied that same unwavering confidence to our goals. What's truly fascinating is that this mental power is within everyone's reach. However, it requires us to believe in it for it to activate. Our brain, with its approximately 100 billion neurons, just as countless as the stars in the Milky Way, is an extraordinary tool that we rarely use to its fullest capacity. The limitations we perceive are often self-imposed, not because our brain isn't capable, but because we haven't trained ourselves to tap into its full potential. This is precisely where the 40% rule comes alive in our everyday lives. is not about imagining yourself as a superhero from a movie. Rather, it's about taking small steps that push us beyond what we thought was possible. Every little effort can be a step towards a stronger, more resilient version of ourselves. When you feel exhausted, write one more paragraph before stopping. When you think you can't go any further, do 1 or 2 extra push-ups. With every small effort, you expand your limits. It is precisely in these moments of doubt and discomfort that true character is forged, where resilience grows, and where you discover that your true strength goes far beyond what you once believed possible. Got it? From now on, everything will be in English, fully expanded and with added value. Here's the last text, rewritten and enriched in English only. So before you know it, you will have achieved goals that once seemed completely out of reach. This is a cumulative process. Every small effort you make adds up over time, building an unshakable foundation for your growth. What starts as a minimal step, done consistently, transforms into a powerful testament to your ability to overcome any obstacle. To help you calm your mind and maintain control during moments of intense pressure, Mark Devine, a former Navy SEAL, recommends a simple but highly effective technique known as box breathing. This method involves inhaling deeply for 4 seconds, holding your breath for another 4 seconds, exhaling slowly for 4 seconds, and then holding your breath again for 4 seconds before repeating the cycle. Although this breathing exercise is famously used by elite operators to manage extreme stress, it's also incredibly practical in everyday situations. Whether you're about to give a big presentation, feeling overwhelmed by anxiety, or simply need to regain your focus, practicing box breathing can reset your nervous system and help you regain clarity and calmness. The benefits of this technique go beyond stress relief. It trains your brain to connect deeply with your body, slowing down the sympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for the fight or flight response, and activating the parasympathetic system, which promotes relaxation and recovery. By mastering this balance, you build emotional resilience and mental toughness that empower you to face challenges with composure. Box breathing is a powerful, accessible tool that requires no equipment or special training, only your willingness to pause and pay attention to your breath. In today's fast-paced world filled with distractions, learning to control your breath can be the difference between reacting impulsively and responding with deliberate calm and confidence. Regular practice not only improves your stress management but also sharpens your focus, enhances creativity, and boosts your overall well-being. In short, it's a quiet investment in your mental and emotional health that supports your journey toward becoming the strongest, most resilient version of yourself. And find clarity every time you think you can't go on. It's not your body that's truly exhausted. It's your mind trying to protect you from pushing further. What's really at stake is your willpower, the inner drive to keep moving forward even when discomfort and pain arise. But here's the truth. You are capable of so much more than you realize. Start today. Push your limits because those limits are merely illusions created by your mind. With every step forward, you dissolve that illusion and embrace a larger reality of what you are truly capable of. Success becomes a far more attainable possibility when we harness the power of science to maximize our willpower in everyday life. What's fascinating is that by integrating these scientific principles into our daily routines, we don't just optimize our productivity. We fundamentally reprogram our mindset to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. Imagine this: marathon runners, utterly exhausted in the final kilometer, often manage to increase their speed, even though their bodies are physically drained. How is this possible? The secret lies in the mind's ability to summon extraordinary reserves of energy when the will to succeed is stronger than the signal of fatigue. This remarkable phenomenon underscores the immense power of mental resilience and determination. When we train ourselves to push past perceived limits, we tap into hidden reservoirs of strength that can carry us through even the toughest moments. By embracing this mindset, you can transform moments of doubt and fatigue into powerful catalysts for progress. Every time you choose to push a little harder, you reinforce neural pathways that make resilience your new default mode. Ultimately, mastering your willpower through science-backed strategies empowers you to live a life defined not by limitations but by possibility. It invites you to rise above the ordinary, conquer discomfort, and unlock the fullest expression of your potential. What drives them is the principle of proximity to the goal. The closer they are to the finish line, the stronger their drive becomes. This phenomenon isn't limited to athletes alone. It reflects how the human mind works universally. This seemingly paradoxical principle teaches us a powerful lesson. When we visualize our goals clearly and measurably, our motivation activates exponentially. The human mind responds to clear, achievable goals like a compass, guiding us precisely through obstacles. Understanding and leveraging this principle can transform the way we pursue success in any area of life. So, how can we harness this principle to our advantage? By setting intermediate goals along the path to our big dream. These intermediate milestones aren't just stepping stones, they are celebrations in their own right. They represent moments of recognition that validate our effort and fuel our momentum toward the next stage. Those small victories that mark our progress act like fuel for the mind. Each step closer to the ultimate goal renews our energy and drive, reducing the need to constantly draw on willpower reserves at every stage. By breaking down overwhelming dreams into smaller, tangible achievements, we create a roadmap that not only feels more manageable but also continuously ignites our internal motivation. This strategy helps us maintain focus, avoid burnout, and stay emotionally engaged throughout the journey. In essence, celebrating incremental progress rewires our brain to expect and seek out success, creating a positive feedback loop that propels us forward. The principle of proximity reminds us that success is rarely a sudden leap, but rather the result of consistent, deliberate steps, each one bringing us closer to the life we envision. Progress, even when small, triggers a powerful positive feedback loop that strengthens our determination and resilience. The world's greatest achievers don't just focus on the present moment. They stay abreast of the latest breakthroughs in psychology and neuroscience, integrating these insights seamlessly into their daily routines. This cutting-edge approach not only keeps their motivation consistently burning, but also allows them to strategically optimize every facet of their lives. What makes this approach truly valuable is the integration of science into everyday living. Not as a mere occasional tool, but as a fundamental principle that reshapes how we think, act, and respond to challenges. Science offers even more powerful tools to enhance our productivity and motivation. One of the most important principles we can apply is Parkinson's law. This law states that work expands to fill the time available for its completion. It's a fascinating insight because it reveals how our perception of time profoundly influences our productivity. The more time we allocate to a task, the more that task tends to stretch, often unnecessarily consuming our resources and energy. Understanding Parkinson's law empowers us to become masters of our time. By consciously setting shorter, focused deadlines, we create pressure that sharpens our focus, increases efficiency, and prevents procrastination. This principle encourages us to redefine how we manage our schedules, transforming time from an open-ended expanse into a tool for driving concentrated, purposeful action. Incorporating this law alongside scientific insights into motivation and progress creates a powerful framework for sustained achievement. When progress is acknowledged and deadlines are optimized, our drive becomes unstoppable. This strategic fusion of science and practice is the key to maintaining motivation day after day, propelling us closer to our goals with clarity and precision. This teaches us something fundamental. Motivation ignites when we feel we've already traveled part of the journey. It's like when we start a new project or set a goal, and upon seeing the first results, we gain confidence that success is within reach. This principle applies universally to every aspect of life. For example, imagine deciding to learn how to play the violin. You don't start completely from scratch. Perhaps you already have a basic understanding of music theory or experience playing other instruments. This prior knowledge becomes a powerful lever that helps you progress faster. Every small skill or piece of understanding you carry forward becomes a stepping stone, a built-in advantage that puts you a step ahead and fuels your confidence to keep moving forward. It's not about starting over. It's about leveraging what you already know and using it as a springboard to reach the next level. Recognizing and embracing this can transform how we approach growth and learning, making the path feel more manageable and less daunting. Ultimately, it's crucial to understand that the true power lies in the effort itself, not just in the outcome. The real value is in our ability to persist, to adapt, and to keep pushing forward even when immediate results are invisible. It's this unwavering commitment and resilience that carve the path to meaningful success. Without persistence, even the best plans remain dreams. When we focus on the process and trust that every small effort accumulates, we build a foundation of strength and momentum that carries us through challenges and setbacks. This mindset shift, from outcome fixation to valuing effort, empowers us to keep going, no matter how slow the progress may seem, because every step forward is a victory in itself. In life, we don't always have control over everything that happens. Sometimes, despite our hardest efforts and relentless work, we don't achieve the results we expected. But this should never discourage us. What truly matters is what we've learned along the way and how we can apply those lessons to repeat the process more effectively under different circumstances. Every failure is simply a lesson in disguise, an invaluable opportunity to adjust our approach, sharpen our strategies, and strengthen our resilience. Each attempt, every ounce of effort, is a chance to grow and evolve. It is this constant growth that forms the foundation of true success, far beyond immediate results or fleeting victories. Self-discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about making steady progress, transforming every step into a learning experience, and harnessing science to keep ourselves motivated, focused, and resolute in achieving our goals. This approach doesn't just make us more productive. It makes us more aware, more conscious of our internal processes and emotional states, which in turn elevates our ability to stay committed to the path we've chosen. The environment around us also plays a pivotal role in this journey. By intentionally shaping our surroundings, minimizing distractions, fostering positivity, and seeking supportive communities, we create fertile ground for persistence and growth. When our external world aligns with our internal drive, we become unstoppable. Ultimately, success is a marathon, not a sprint. It's the unwavering dedication to showing up, learning, adjusting, and pushing forward, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, that defines those who truly triumph. Embrace the process, honor your efforts, and trust that every step forward is building a future of resilience, wisdom, and achievement. Our social environment has a profound impact on our self-discipline, something we often overlook. The energy of the people around us doesn't just influence our attitude, it affects our very biology. Fascinating studies reveal that our brains are not only activated when we think about ourselves, but also when we consider the people close to us, such as friends and family. This phenomenon highlights the deep human interconnectedness, showing that our shared experiences are not just emotional but also neurological. This means that, naturally, we absorb the behaviors, attitudes, and energies of those around us. When we are surrounded by positive influences, our willpower is strengthened, enabling us to push forward with greater resilience and motivation. Conversely, exposure to negativity can weaken our resolve, making it harder to maintain focus and discipline. It is essential to understand that our self-discipline often depends not only on individual effort but also on the external influences we choose to allow into our lives. This scientific insight underscores the critical importance of carefully selecting who we surround ourselves with and the environments in which we operate. By cultivating a positive and supportive social circle, we create a fertile ground for growth, persistence, and success. In essence, the company we keep can either elevate us to new heights or hold us back. Recognizing this empowers us to take deliberate control over our surroundings, aligning our external world with our internal goals. This alignment becomes a powerful catalyst for achieving sustained discipline and ultimately realizing our greatest ambitions. A powerful lesson emerges from this data. When we connect with people facing challenges similar to our own, we find invaluable allies on our journey towards self-development. The true value of a community that shares our goals goes beyond emotional support. It lies in creating a network of mutual accountability. Companionship strengthens our discipline in ways that solitary effort often cannot. Imagine walking alongside someone who shares your objective. The simple act of recognizing and celebrating each other's small victories can multiply the overall results. Collective motivation acts like a current, pulling everyone forward, especially during moments of doubt or struggle. A study from the University of Pittsburgh found that couples who supported each other in their weight loss efforts saw their success rates jump from 24% to 66%. This striking figure underscores the incredible power of social reinforcement. When we share our efforts with others, we don't just feel supported, we actively push each other toward new heights. This is the transformative power of mutual support. Together, we fuel resilience, perseverance, and growth. By fostering connections with like-minded individuals, we create an environment where progress is amplified and challenges become more manageable. It's a reminder that we are stronger, not alone, but united in pursuit of our highest potential. Supporting one another transforms individual effort into a collective force. While rewarding ourselves is a healthy practice, we must be cautious of its temptations. The key is to avoid falling into complacency. Celebrating progress is important, but it can become counterproductive if it turns into an excuse to abandon the path. The presence of others can push us to surpass our limits. Knowing that someone is watching encourages us to give our best, resist procrastination, and maintain our discipline. This drive is intrinsic to our social nature. The mere awareness that others are observing elevates us and compels us to be better. When we know someone is counting on us to follow through, it becomes much harder to delay or abandon our goals. This principle also applies to technology. Productivity apps and social media act as modern tools that create an external presence reminding us of our objectives and reinforcing our determination. Applications that allow us to share our achievements and progress publicly harness this social influence to keep us accountable and motivated. They are also a way to create this watchful environment that motivates us to keep moving forward, preventing our efforts from fading away. However, there is an interesting paradox. Talking about our plans often has the opposite effect. Professor Peter Hollins discovered that those who keep their aspirations to themselves are more likely to achieve them. It's fascinating how sometimes our mind tricks us with a false sense of success when we share our achievements too early. Why? Because premature praise from others gives us a premature feeling of accomplishment, which weakens our self-discipline. This phenomenon has a deep psychological explanation. By verbalizing our successes before actually achieving them, we trigger an immediate reward in our brain, which can reduce the drive to keep pushing forward. When we receive recognition before reaching a goal, our mind mistakenly believes the goal is already attained. Even we ourselves can fall into this trap. It is natural to want to celebrate achievements, but we must be careful not to let those celebrations become excuses to relax and lose momentum. It is important to distinguish between genuine recognition of progress and the dangerous habit of using achievements as an excuse to pause in our efforts. A study from the University of Chicago showed that after receiving praise for their progress on a diet, more than 80% of participants rewarded themselves with chocolate instead of healthier options. This example serves as a clear reminder that when we indulge in premature gratification, we risk losing sight of our ultimate goal. Acknowledging our achievements is valuable, but it should never become a reason to abandon our effort. The ideal approach is to celebrate every step toward the goal as part of a continuous process of improvement, not as a final destination that justifies complacency. If you want an extra boost, finding a role model can be a powerful source of motivation. Watching someone who has already achieved what you desire is not only inspiring but also strategic. Seeing someone succeed reminds you that what seems unreachable is actually possible. These types of role models provide us with a tangible vision of what we can achieve, making our own aspirations feel more within reach. Your success is just around the corner, and surrounding yourself with the right people, those who challenge and support you, will help you unlock your full potential. The power of human relationships acts as a catalyst on the journey to success, allowing us to grow through synergy. Self-discipline is the art of visualizing a bright future and working with unwavering determination to reach it, even when immediate results are not visible. This ability to project our goals into the long term is essential because it helps us maintain motivation throughout the process, especially when instant gratification seems elusive. It is truly an exercise in long-term thinking. This kind of mindset holds incredible power, but it also presents a challenge. The fruits of our efforts may take years to fully materialize. Patience becomes more than a virtue, it becomes a necessity. Patience is therefore an essential virtue in this process. It's easy to lose motivation when we don't see quick results, but the key lies in keeping clear in our minds the purpose behind our sacrifices. In moments of doubt, remembering the why behind our goals acts as an anchor that holds us steady, even when the waves of adversity rise high. Every time we face temptation, we should recall why we resist and for whom we are doing it. This approach not only strengthens our discipline but also connects us to our deeper purpose, providing us with clear direction. Scientists have discovered something fascinating. Our brain doesn't emotionally distinguish between our own future and the future of others. This reminds us that the concept of our future self can often feel distant and abstract, like a far-off, unreal version of ourselves. Because of this, we may struggle to feel a genuine connection with that future self, making it even harder to sacrifice immediate pleasures for long-term goals. However, this principle also has a positive side. We can train our minds to see our future selves as closer and more tangible. This mental training holds one of the keys to self-discipline, learning to project the long-term benefits of our efforts as concrete and achievable realities. In one fascinating study, participants in a virtual reality experiment interacted with avatars of themselves, one representing their current appearance and another showing an aged version of themselves. This kind of exercise strengthens the connection between the present and the future by eliminating the emotional distance we often feel toward our future self. Those who saw their aged avatar were more likely to choose to invest their money in a retirement fund, demonstrating how powerful this visualization can be. The idea of visualizing our future self is incredibly powerful. Not only can we leverage technology to create vivid visual representations, but we can also practice simple mental exercises. For example, asking ourselves how today's decisions will impact our lives in the near or distant future helps bring that future into clearer focus. There are even apps designed to show us how we might look as we age, making the concept of our future self more real and immediate. By bridging this gap, we strengthen our motivation to make disciplined choices today that benefit us tomorrow. Over the years, or simply by doing a mental exercise asking ourselves, How will my decision today impact my life in 10 minutes, hours, days, or even years? We begin to link our daily actions with their long-term consequences. By adopting this mindset, we strengthen our ability to make disciplined decisions. This simple shift in perspective can transform our capacity for self-discipline. Self-discipline is the key to stepping out of our comfort zone. While it is not always the easiest path, it is always the most rewarding. It is in the discomfort, in pushing ourselves toward the unknown, that we truly discover what we are capable of achieving. If we keep giving in to temptations and making the same choices over and over again, we become trapped in a cycle of repetition, moving further away from our goals instead of closer to them. This cycle may seem tempting and easy, but it is only by breaking free from routine that we unlock new possibilities. Leaving our comfort zone is what enables real growth. And reach new heights. Sometimes this process can feel terrifying, but the benefits it brings are immense. Although the fear of change can paralyze us, true strength lies in embracing that fear and moving forward despite it. A powerful example of this is the story of entrepreneur Jia Jiang. He believed his fear of rejection was limiting his potential, a fear that is one of the most common barriers we all face, extending far beyond just professional life. Determined to confront this fear head-on, Jia embarked on a unique 100-day challenge, where he approached strangers with absurd requests, like asking for large sums of money. Each rejection he faced only made him stronger and more determined. This kind of exercise is a way to train our resilience, forcing our minds to reinterpret rejection not as a failure but as a valuable learning opportunity. Through this resilience training, Jia Jiang eventually fulfilled his dream of becoming a teacher, despite being rejected twice by universities. From Texas, on his third attempt, Jia Jiang finally secured the position. His story highlights a powerful truth. Only through repetition and direct confrontation with our fears can we overcome them, unlocking our true potential. We all face fears, insecurities, and doubts. What makes the difference is how we choose to face them. The willingness to act, even amid uncertainty, is what transforms those stuck in paralysis into those who move forward toward success. While many people avoid their fears and limit their own potential, those brave enough to confront them unlock a stronger, more capable version of themselves. This kind of courage isn't about the absence of fear but the readiness to act despite it. Willpower pushes us forward, challenging us to take one step beyond our fears, and it is the vehicle that carries us toward our true potential. Ultimately, our self-discipline is not just an act of resistance but a vehicle towards personal freedom and the fulfillment of our greatest aspirations. The decisions we make daily shape both our personal and professional lives. Each choice, no matter how small, holds the potential to steer us toward the future we desire, or lead us away from it. Choosing between what is easy and what is necessary is no simple task, but with self-discipline, we hold the power to make the right decisions. Self-discipline, then, not only grants us willpower but also serves as a compass, guiding us through the temptations that challenge our resolve and everyday distractions. The key lies in developing that willpower that drives us toward success. This development of self-discipline requires constant commitment, a focused determination that allows us to keep moving forward even when immediate rewards seem absent. Self-discipline is often associated with pushing ourselves to our limits, but this notion can lead to burnout if we're not careful. Self-discipline should not be understood as a constant, exhausting sacrifice, but rather as a balanced process that requires both effort and rest. Self-discipline is not something we simply exhaust. It's a skill we can strengthen and train. Just like we train a muscle, we need practices that allow us to develop our self-discipline sustainably. With consistent practice, we will learn to direct our energy effectively and discover what strengthens and what weakens our willpower. This self-awareness is key, Understanding how different stimuli in our environment affect us allows us to navigate obstacles more skillfully. Before they lead us astray, if we learn to manage it properly, we can achieve extraordinary accomplishments. Well-managed self-discipline not only leads us to success, but also enriches our personal, professional, and emotional lives. It's important to recognize that progress does not happen overnight. The path to self-discipline is a constant journey, not a fixed destination. We live in a world where social expectations, others' habits, and our own traumas can influence our decisions. Often, these external influences distract us from what we truly want to achieve. Overcoming these obstacles is not easy, but self-control is a journey, not an immediate destination. This journey towards self-control becomes more effective when we cultivate patience and perseverance, understanding that every challenge is part of the growth process. This journey becomes easier when we have clear goals and celebrate even the smallest progress. It is fundamental to recognize and celebrate those small victories. Since each step forward brings us closer to our ideal version of ourselves, to stay on the path to self-discipline, these questions will help us stay focused. Are we aware of the decisions we make? Awareness is the first step to making choices aligned with our values and goals. Do we have clarity about our objectives? Clarity about what we want to achieve gives us direction and purpose, driving our discipline toward concrete goals. What factors drain our willpower, and how can we minimize them? Identifying what drains our mental energy allows us to reduce their impact and focus our strength on what truly matters. What tools and methods work best to strengthen our self-control? Everyone is different. Finding the tools that best fit our lifestyle increases our effectiveness in building habits. Step by step, we can build habits that support our self-discipline and bring us closer to our goals. Habit building is a gradual process that solidifies the foundation for lasting change. The development of these habits is a daily investment that over time creates a strong foundation for success. Try these tips to strengthen your self-discipline. Minimize distractions. Turn off social media notifications to keep your focus on what truly matters. Reducing external distractions is key to maintaining our attention on the present and what really needs to be done. Visualize your future. Imagine who you want to be in 10 years and what you will have achieved. Let those dreams guide you and turn them into concrete goals. Visualization of goals allows us to experience the excitement and purpose that the future can offer. Reflect on your self-sabotage. Instead of thinking you are lazy, dig deeper into the reasons behind your habits. Why do certain activities fail to motivate you? Understanding the root of your behaviors will allow you to change them. Introspection is a powerful tool that helps us identify patterns of self-sabotage and make more conscious decisions aligned with our goals. Every step we take on this journey brings us closer to our best selves. Self-discipline is not just about reaching goals, but about becoming a better person along the way. Self-discipline not only helps us achieve our goals, but also transforms us into stronger, more focused, and resilient individuals. As we grow in self-discipline, we develop a greater capacity to handle adversity and stay focused on what truly matters. And here we arrive at the end of this journey toward a more powerful, focused, and transformative self-discipline. Thank you for staying until the end and for walking this path of personal growth with me. You have taken an important step toward your best self, and that is priceless. If this audiobook has inspired, motivated, or given you new tools to take control of your life, I would love to hear about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with those who could also benefit from these ideas. Remember, every small step counts, and the path to self-discipline begins with one decision: to keep moving forward always.